A few days ago I had a Citroën Dispatch in that was suffering from ghost touch. The owner was losing patience. If you don't know what ghost touch is, that's where the touchscreen starts pressing things on its own, basically ending calls and switching to the radio by itself. So he brought it to me, and instead of just switching it to a factory head unit or changing the screen to a stock one, I thought, why don't I upgrade it to an Android one and add a rear camera as well? So that's what I did. Right, this is everything that'll be going into the van. New Android unit, matching fascia, so once it's all together it should look like it belongs there. And while everything was apart, it made sense to fit a reversing camera as well. At first glance it looks like there's enough wiring here to rewire the whole van. Right, let's see how much of the dashboard needs to come apart. First thing, we need a bit more room behind the dashboard. G20. Thankfully the glove box is only held in with a couple of screws. Just need to unplug the glove box light, feed the cable through, and that's it. There we go, much better. Quality controls here. Not exactly helping. Next up, the centre trim. Just move up a bit. Before it comes away, there's just one connector behind it to unplug. Other than that, it's all just clips. There we go. I don't think this has been apart for a while. Dropping the steering wheel down just gives a bit more room to get this out. Once I'd finished wrestling with the dashboard. There we go. First proper look behind the dashboard. Now we can finally get to the head unit itself. Typical, it's behaving itself now. This took a bit longer than expected. Those connectors definitely weren't letting go without a fight. Finally out. Right, back to the bench. Now we can start building the new unit. The air vents, they need transferring over from the original. They're only clipped in, so it's just a case of working your way around and releasing them one at a time. To be fair, using my hands actually works better than the trim tool for most of it. Just needed the trim tool for a couple of the awkward clips, then they come straight out. The second one went actually the same. Worth checking they're all moving freely before they go back in. Straight into the new one, and they clip straight into place. That's the old unit finished with, no going back now. Already starting to look the part. Time to fit the new screen. It only fits one way, so it just drops straight into place. Just 4 screws on the back, and that's it, secured. Starting to look like a proper head unit now. Right, let's get this back in the van. Quality control's back. Looks happy enough. Up to now, it's only been the screen that's come out. Now it's time for the main head unit. Thankfully, it's only held in with a few screws. Once they're out, the whole unit just slides forward. First up, the main wiring harness. Then just work through the rest of the connections. These little ones weren't quite as keen to come out. Just a little help with the trim tool. And they soon let go. There we go. That's the original head unit out. Doesn't look like much once it's out of the van. Now we can start getting everything ready for the new one. Before anything goes back in, I just wanted to free up a bit of the room behind the dashboard. These factory clips keep everything nice and tidy, but with the extra wiring from the new kit, a little more space definitely helps. This adapter isn't needed anymore, so that can come out as well. One thing I did want to keep was the factory USB socket. This little green connector is what feeds the USB port down on the centre console. Thankfully, the new kit comes with an adapter for it. So you still get to use the original USB port, which is a nice touch. Now onto the new wiring harness. This is what connects everything together. The canvas module just plugs straight into the harness, nice and simple. Power connector. Reverse camera input. And finally, the main connector into the van. I do like these locking connectors. Once that's clipped down, you know it's not going anywhere. The Android unit also comes with another USB lead. I decided to run that through into the glove box. Keeps it out of the way, but it's still there if you need it. Same idea with the GPS antenna. Feed it through. Stick it underneath the dashboard, and that's sorted. One last little job before everything goes back in. The factory aerial uses a twin connector, whereas the Android unit only needs a single connection. So it's just a case of opening the original connector up, lifting the aerial lead out, and clipping it into the new one. Just make sure it's properly locked in, and that's another job ticked off. I always like to wrap little modifications like this back up with the loom tape. It keeps everything together, stops any unnecessary rattles, and when you look behind the dashboard later, it still looks like it belongs there. It's one of those little jobs that's easy to skip, but it only takes a minute, and it makes a big difference when everything's back together. Right, moment of truth. First thing we need to plug in is the cooling fan, but first we need to put the harness in. It's only a small connector, but it still needs to click. Then the fan itself. Nice and simple. Next, the factory USB connection. Then the main wiring harness. Just make sure everything's fully seated. There's nothing worse than chasing a fault that turns out to be a plug that wasn't pushed in properly. This little lead takes care of the reverse camera trigger through CAN bus, so that's plugged in as well. GPS antenna next. Nice and easy. And finally, the extra USB lead for the glove box. Quite a few connections, but everything's got its place. Now comes the bit that always feels like a game of Tetris. Trying to persuade all the wiring to disappear behind the dashboard. There we go, fits nicely. First things first, just making sure it's powering up. Radio's working, so that's a good sign. Apparently she wanted to help with the wiring. Taking the inspection seriously.
Dude, can't go in there.
Right, outside you go.
We could pour out there.
With the head unit powering up, it was time to move on to the reversing camera. As you'd expect, it's a working ban. camera's going on the left hand rear door, which keeps the wiring run nice and straightforward. First job, get the door panel off. I'd already run the video cable from the dashboard to the back of the van off camera, otherwise we'd be here all day. Here's where the camera sits, nice and discreet next to the number plate light. Once mounted, it was just a case of routing the wiring through the door, into the van and all the way back up to the new head unit. Final inspection. Right. Moment of truth. Looking good so far. Now for the bit I've been waiting for. Perfect.
Happy days.
Exactly what we wanted. Happy with that. That's the Ghost Touch gone, the reversing camera's working, and the van's got a much nicer system than it came with. If you've enjoyed the video, I've got plenty more projects coming up. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.